Alrighty, what we got here is the Pyle PP999. It's a preamplifier for hooking up your record player to your, stereo amplifier. It is pretty good for how cheap it is. It is not the best of the best, but for how cheap it is very good. Mine does not work for me because I wanted to use it to give my iPod a little bit of a boost instead of an amplifier, or instead of a record player, rather. It's too powerful. My iPod is not as quiet as a record player or a phonograph would be. I have to reduce the gain to make that better. This cuts down the treble and brings up the bass. Because record players are not very bassy. Records generally don't have a lot of bass. Again, that's really bad if you're running an iPod through it, because an iPod is good as is. It doesn't need the bass boosted or the treble reduced. So I'm going to try and modify this to make it appropriate for an iPod, for use with an iPod. And we will see how that works. Now, what the schematics I've been given for how to do this are, I think, pretty much just theoretical. I don't think it's been done in practice before. So we will do this, and then we'll find out how it sounds. All right. Alrighty. I've got us all opened up. So we're going to start working on this. My replacement resistors that I'm going to have to use to replace some of these have not arrived yet. So we'll just start with removing some of this stuff and see what happens. Alright, so I have so far removed the resistors I don't need and the capacitors I don't need. So I'm halfway there. I finally got in the resistors I ordered to replace other resistors, so I'm going to start removing those now. And we will see how this goes. Alright, well, the new resistors have been put in. I've taken out the old ones. Everything's started up, good to go. I checked and double checked. It looks like the soldering is okay from what I can tell. So basically, I'm just going to reassemble this thing, and then we'll try it out tomorrow and see how it sounds. Alright. Alright, now we're testing out the new preamp, now that it's been rewired, to see how it does. First test is just without the preamp, just straight iPod, just to get an idea. This is what straight iPod, no preamp sounds like. Okay, and you can see the record level there. See what kind of sound you're getting out of it. Not too much, not hitting too hard. Okay, now we try it with the preamp. Alright, this time we've got the preamp hooked up. Let's see how it sounds. Holy moly. Yeah, you can see from the bars there. That's a definite amp. Well, albeit it works. That's a huge amplification. Cool. Can't wait to try this out at work tomorrow. Alright, well, I got the Pyle preamp hooked up. It's sounding really good. I'm going to have to clean up in here. It's a bit of a mess, but it's working. I've only got my volume up to about a little over the halfway point. I normally have to crank it up all the way, so I'm pretty happy. Alrighty, well, the Pyle preamplifier works really well, so it's at work. I didn't bring it back home with me. It's at work doing what it needs to do. So I'm working right now on crafting a sticker I can slap on it that'll differentiate it from the other Pyle I've got that I actually do have hooked up to a record player. So anyway, this was a pretty neat project. I found out how to do it by accident. I was going on Google and looking at different people talking about how to change different things on the Pyle preamplifier. I stumbled by accident into a post on audiokarma.org, and there was discussion there between people that were much more well-versed in this than me. So I ended up contacting one of the guys who really sounded like he knew what he was talking about. His name was Wizard W64, I believe. Super knowledgeable, super helpful. And he was basically the one that told me everything I needed to know, because I've only taken a basic electronics course, and that was like a decade ago. So I had forgotten a lot of the equations and such and formulas. I'm just an amateur. I have a basic understanding of the concepts, gain and resistance and all that. But he understood it pretty much to a T, understood all the formulas, knew how to do that stuff. So he told me, what resistors to put in and what to take out and yada, yada, yada. So I will put that in the description. I will, for this video, I will place instructions on what to do if you want to do this too. The Pyle PP999 preamplifier, it's pretty cheap. I think it's selling for about $18.99 on Amazon right now. I'd recommend it if you actually have a record player you want to plug into your stereo amplifier at home. Also, if you want to do this, it's not terribly expensive, so it's you could do this too. What I did. I would caution you to be careful when you're desoldering the parts. On my first go around, I didn't account for how difficult it would be to take off some of these parts. They were soldered on there in a kind of interesting way. So when I did it the first time, when I was taking off the resistors and capacitors I didn't need, there were some of the traces looked slightly damaged and got me kind of worried. But as you can see, obviously it worked out. So I ended up being all right. A lot of those capacitors and resistors that I took off on the first go around, they shared the same traces. So if the trace looked too bad where I'd taken up a resistor, where I needed to put down wire to complete the continuity, I would use like the capacitor trace instead, and that worked out fine. So anyway, yeah, I'll put the instructions on what to do if you want to do this in the video information. All right.